So in terms of this Tesla thing, so this is pretty interesting because we have tokenized Tesla now, which opens up really this like entire new market of what can be done. And I just find it like really fascinating. And obviously, my background is as an options trader, so I have been trading options for what I'm going to be doing almost 14 years now, which is pretty crazy. It's like half my life. Actually, yeah, it'd be half my
That
life.
is
And
bananas. I'm like, what the
yeah,
trading options like junior high school? Like what the
yeah, I was. Yeah, I started trading when I was 14. So yeah, I'm going to be 28 this year.
wow.
Yeah, so yeah, this I didn't think about that, but this year it'll officially be half my life that I've been trading. So options are like deeply in my background. They're like my first love, and I've been thinking a lot about tokenized Tesla and RWAs in general from Leo strategy. But what I think is really interesting is you can look at a lot of arbitrage trades now where you can look at tokenized Tesla and then look at Tesla on the stock market if you have access to it. And you can do a lot of really interesting trades. So I actually was talking to ChatGPT to come up with a good strategy because I had this idea in mind about what we could do, or like what I could even do just personally in terms of like arbitraging the tokenized Tesla delta that you get, and then essentially hedging it on options, on the options market. So let me try to keep it, as simple as I can. Basically, if you own tokenized Tesla, if you own 100 shares of tokenized Tesla, you have basically one notional share of Tesla stock, because one tokenized Tesla is pegged one hundredth of a Tesla share. So if you have 100 shares of tokenized Tesla, it equals one Tesla share in terms of exposure. If you look at the delta of that, you can essentially say, well, I have one Tesla share worth of exposure if I own 100 tokenized Tesla shares. And then I can go onto the options market and I can short the equivalent of one Tesla share. And if you short one Tesla share, you now have delta neutrality, which means whether Tesla goes up or down, it doesn't matter to you. You are perfect. So if Tesla goes up $10, your tokenized Tesla goes up $10 in value, and your Tesla share goes, and your short Tesla share goes down $10 in value, right? And I'm keeping this very simple. So what is interesting is if you believe that the peg will hold in long time frames, which I obviously do, in terms of tokenized Tesla, then you can take your tokenized Tesla shares and you can hedge them with options on the stock market. So what I did today was I started looking at the options chain for Tesla, and I'm kind of testing this in a smaller arena, but I have around 5,000 tokenized Tesla shares. So I was looking at the options chain of Tesla and saying, okay, if I open an options position and hedge the delta of my long tokenized Tesla, how much options premium can I collect for that, essentially? So you have to think about like what is your goal? Your goal is you're holding tokenized Tesla, which is paying you yield every day, right? Because tokenized Tesla pays yield. And then your secondary goal is can I open a short position on the stock market that gives or at least reduces my delta, whether or not you can play with your deltas. But if you want to have delta neutrality for the sake of this conversation, can I open a short position that has the exact opposite amount of delta as my long tokenized Tesla shares and collect options premium for opening that, and then be getting paid yield from tokenized Tesla and yield from the options market because you're selling options and taking in premium. And if you're not an options trader, it's probably going to sound really complicated. I'm trying to keep it as like high level as I can. But when you sell an options contract, you collect a premium. And if the options contract expires worthless, that's what you want as an options seller, then you get to keep the whole premium. So what I did today was I sold I think it was a 450 and 455 call spread. So I just did a call spread for this to kind of see how it goes. But I sold a 450, 455 call spread. I think I took in a $2 premium, which means for each contract, I actually took in $200 because you multiply it all by 100. So I took in $200 in premium per contract, and each contract gave me a negative delta towards Tesla, which means I actually want Tesla to go down. So when you sell a call, when you sell a call, you actually want the underlying asset, in this case Tesla, to go down in price. It's bearish. But because I'm holding tokenized Tesla, I already have long delta. So all I'm doing is I'm actually hedging that long delta by selling call spreads. And if I sell enough call spreads, I can actually have a zero delta position, which means whether or not Tesla goes up or down $100 is irrelevant to my position. My position is meant to collect yield. So I'm collecting yield on tokenized Tesla from the daily dividends, and then I'm collecting options premium from the short call contracts that I have. So I hope that I made that kind of easy to follow along with. But what is going to be really interesting to see is, if the tokenized Tesla peg holds in long time frames, you can essentially just keep refarming all of this. So you can just keep, essentially you can sell call contracts and either wait for them to expire or close them early for a profit, and you can just keep renewing the contracts and just keep selling more. And if your goal is to remain delta neutral, which is what I'm planning to do with this, then you don't care if Tesla goes up or down or whatever. You are just arbitraging the spread of tokenized Tesla and Tesla. You're actually arbitraging the yield of the two. And then if you want to take it one step further, what's interesting is tokenized Tesla is right now trading below its peg. So if you buy tokenized Tesla and then sell or short Tesla, you are also arbitraging the spread of the correlation between Tesla and tokenized Tesla. So that kind of even adds to the strategy and makes it more profitable. Again, if you believe that tokenized Tesla will hold its peg in the long term. So very interesting, but essentially you're using the options market to arbitrage yield on both assets, and that's what I'm now doing.